If you're a woman in retail looking to grow your career, connect with industry leaders, and recharge in a supportive community, the Women in Retail Leadership Summit is the event for you. And to all of our male listeners, if you know an amazing female colleague who would benefit from this experience, be sure to pass the word along. Happening at the beautiful Ritz-Carlton Amelia Island on April 28th through the 30th, registration is now open at womeninretailsummit.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Campanelli, the co-founder of the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, which is a membership-based community of executive women at leading retailers and brands. We're so excited to be here at the NRF Big Show in New York City with Sheryl Clark, the CEO of Boston Proper, who's going to chat with us about her career, how Boston Proper navigated the shift towards e-commerce and digital channels, her secrets to success, and more. Welcome, Sheryl.
Thank you, Melissa. I'm so excited to be with Women in Retail Leadership at the NRF this year.
Great. Yes, we have a nice booth set up here. We're really excited to be here and having a lot of people stop by, which is great. So let's dive in. At Women in Retail, we always like to talk a little bit about the leaders that are involved in our group, about their careers. So I'd love to hear your career trajectory. I know you went from Bloomingdale's to the Gap to Boston Proper. You had a remarkable career. So what are some of the lessons from your early career that have been most valuable in your current role?
You know, I think every job you have and every opportunity, even when I started waitressing, right, you're learning things all the time. And I think that's what I try to do each time is what can I learn from this experience and how is it going to help me as I grow? And, you know, the executive training program was an amazing opportunity to really understand stores, because back in the day, you worked in the stores and then you went in the buying office and then you went back to the stores and then you had to make a decision, stores or buying office. So it really allowed you to understand like the bricks and mortar and how it works and how to drive customers into your store and how to get the conversion. So I loved Bloomingdale's for giving me that opportunity. I think my quick lesson there was I got placed in the bakery as my first round, and I was just devastated because I'm like, hello, Carrie Bradshaw, how am I like going to be a trainee in the bakery? But my dad said to me that night after I cried and cried, hey, what a great place to start. And if you can be the best buyer the bakery ever had, then you can do anything.
What great advice. I love that. Love a good dad quote.
And then when I went to the Gap, you know, another different kind of opportunity happened. I was there for probably 4 or 5 years, and I had an opportunity to become the vice president of men's. And I turned it down because I'm a women's merchant. And I remember sitting with Bob Fisher in his office, and he's like, so that's all you aspire to be? And I was like, no, I'm going to run a company someday. I'm going to do this. And he goes, oh, with just women's experience? And it really made me pause. And he said, why don't you try learning how to convert customers in clothes you don't wear? Wouldn't that be an amazing thing to add to your resume and to the things that you know how to do? So it was a great, again, another great opportunity to do something different, maybe not what I thought, but forever to this day, it was one of the best career decisions I ever made because I got to learn really how to address the needs of a customer that wasn't me.
Wow. Another great mentor, great quote. That's awesome. And then you went from the Gap to Boston Proper.
Then I went to Boston Proper. And I think the amazing thing with Boston Proper was I had no internet experience because at the Gap it was very separate and I had no catalog experience. So the opportunity again for me to learn something new and to continue to kind of add value to what I do and what I know how to do. And I think one of the best things that happened there was I got to learn how to buy and sell a company. So we had to put the company together to sell. We went on the road. So that was a whole nother learning experience. So I've been really fortunate. Having only worked at 3 companies, I've had lots of different varying experiences that help create who I am today.
Great. That is great. I love that. Really things that you can point to. That's awesome. So let's talk about Boston Proper. Since you've been there, it has achieved $100 million in revenue, which is so exciting. So what are some of the biggest challenges you had? I'm sure there were some challenges in reaching that milestone, and how did you overcome them?
You know, I would say in the last 4 years in particular, from COVID forward, the industry has changed so much, right? I feel like when you're thinking about your business, it used to always be product. And while it is product, the marketing element and how important that is when you're not a bricks and mortar store is tremendously important. So for us to actually learn how to transition from being a catalog that reached the customer directly to now trying to reach them through social platforms, trying to reach them through, different things, email and SMS becomes so important. So I feel like I'm continuously learning new things and new ways of doing things. And that's really why we're here today, to see what other new technology is out there that will help continue to propel Boston proper into the future, especially based on technology.
So technology was a big player in terms of your success.
Without a doubt. When we're owned by private equity, and our private equity team, they basically hooked us up when they first bought us with soft surroundings to do to utilize their platform, because we had nothing. We had come from being part owned by Chico's. So what happened was we were using their platforms and everything became very antiquated. And so we knew post-COVID we had to get on a new platform. So now we're on Shopify. We had to do everything ourselves. And the technology out there is so amazing right now. And it's really helped us, I would say, transform the company faster than we thought we could.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'd love to talk to you about the concept of Lucy. I remember reading about this a little while ago, and we never really talked about it before. So what is Lucy? And I guess it's considered the ideal customer profile, but tell me more about it. I love it.
It's interesting. When I think about my time at Bloomingdale's and my time at the Gap, your customer was so vast, right? Like at the Gap in particular, it was like when they were born to when they died, right? It was just, there wasn't a focus on who the customer was. So one of the things I loved best about Boston Proper is they know exactly who their customer was. We know who she is. We know her demographics. We know what she likes. When we're developing clothes, we think about what's Lucy doing in February? What kind of clothes will she want? And so this Lucy persona is really completely well known throughout our company. We talk about her all the time because we're trying to imagine us being in her shoes and satisfying all of her needs. And the only way you can do that is if you embrace her fully. So she's alive in our office every day, and we always talk about her. Lucy, Lucy, Lucy.
And tell me about who Lucy is. Like, what is her profile?
So what we're realizing now is there are numerous Lucys, right? Because we've got boho Lucy, we've got sexy Lucy, we've got classic Lucy. But within that, the things that she shares is she's basically 35 plus. She basically, college educated. She owns her own home. So not an affluent customer, but a good, solid kind of core customer base who has money to spend on discretionary clothing in particular, because our clothes are for women who refuse to blend in, right? You don't wear Boston Proper if you want to be a wallflower. You wear Boston Proper because you want to be unique. You want to wear it like no one else. You want a little bit of attention. I mean, I wear it a lot because if I tell my CFO, Adrian, all the time, if I'm walking down the streets in New York and someone doesn't stop me and say, I love your jacket. Oh, your jeans are cool. I love that bag. I'm like depressed. I embrace Lucy all the time because I want to be out there and I don't want to blend in.
Right. That's awesome. I love that. And just one more question around that. When you were thinking about e-commerce and digital, how does Lucy fit into that equation? Like, what type of e-commerce and digital does she utilize?
Yeah, so we've definitely brought, I think she moved with us into Facebook, into Instagram, and really responding to Reels and wanting our influencers to talk to her about the things we're doing. So I think all of that technology and all that social and digital stuff has really helped us build a community and a connection with Lucy that we never would have been able to do just by mailing her a catalog.
Right. That's great. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about leadership, such an important part of our work here at Women in Retail. So how do you define success as a leader, especially in this fast-paced, ever-changing world of retail?
I would say my leadership journey has just changed so much throughout my career. And where I am right now is really about empowering the team. Like, I think we grew up in an age where we had to own it all. We had to know everything. We had to know every single, no matter what question you asked, I needed to have the answer. It had to come from me. And now what I'm realizing is it's really about the team you surround yourself with, because you can't be that bright anymore. You can't be on top of every single thing. So when you build a leadership team of really stellar people who have the passion for the business, right? The dedication, the loyalty, the drive for giving Lucy what she wants and growing this business, then you can empower your team and allow them to step up and own and answer and drive. And you're really there to remove barriers, to provide support, give coaching, and that's been a definite leadership transformation for me, because I grew up doing, and having all of the answers.
Right, exactly. That is so true. Going from being a practitioner to a strategic force.
Yeah, and it's hard, right? Because
Right.
you kind of are, sometimes you feel like, well, maybe they don't need me anymore, right? You go down this whole thing. But what you realize when you step back and let that go is they need you more than ever, but they
Right.
need you in a different way.
Yes.
And that way is going to allow them to become stronger. It's going to allow your business to make better decisions because you're putting the decisions and the people closest to the issues and the problems and the challenges.
I love that. That's so great.
It was a hard journey.
Yeah,
though.
it's sort of like an intangible, It's like it's so much easier to say, okay, at the end of the day, I did this, I prepared these many spreadsheets, versus helped someone psychologically move through their challenge that they might have been having.
Yeah. And
So-
if you're coaching and you're doing it right, you're teaching and training so you actually
Right.
don't have to be the decision maker.
Right.
They
right,
can.
Right. I love it so much. Okay, so wrapping up, so what's next for Boston Proper? I know it's oftentimes difficult to talk about stuff that's in the works, but are there any new initiatives that you feel comfortable talking about or any markets you're excited to explore?
So we've been on a transformation now for a good solid 3 years, right? The first of it was building the platforms that we needed so that we had the technology and the tech stack to be able to do so many different things. So one of the things we're super excited about right now is we're building the Boston Proper Marketplace, which is allowing us to have other resources, brands we love on our website that complement what we do. So some great examples are we're not really an intimate brand. Intimate is you have to have such expertise and knowledge to really be in the intimate space, but we love Hanky Panky. So Hanky Panky you can now buy on the Boston Proper website, and it's there. It's a drop ship method, so it's their website, but it's really allows us to give Lucy the full experience. And so we've got some great jewelry brands that we love, and all of this is allowing Lucy to kind of go one place and get everything she needs, both the things that she needs from Boston Proper and other things she needs to complete her look or her wardrobe for that day.
I love that. That's so exciting.
I
Has
know.
it launched or
It's
is
launched.
it? Oh,
It's launched. So if you see it, it's under Brands We Love.
Oh, wow.
And it's really a testimony because we won't put a brand up if we don't on our
You
leadership
have to have
team.
your blessing.
Yeah, love
Right,
it. Like it's
right.
got to be the same passion that we have, and ideally something that can elevate our current experience. Right? I mean. With Boston Proper, we need a lot of I feel like our customer Lucy, needs some support things sometimes. She's wearing a slinky dress, right? She wants some support stuff. We couldn't do that. We couldn't build that technology, but she can now buy those support things at the same time she's buying that sexy dress with Hanky Panky all in one shopping
stop
cart.
shop. Love
yeah,
it. Love
it's
it.
exciting.
Hanky Panky is a great friend of women in retail
Yes,
as well.
yes,
so
yes,
I
I
know
know.
their CEO pretty well as well.
Yeah.
So it's been so great chatting with you, Sheryl. We're running out of time. We have so much to do at the NRF show here, but
I know.
we thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate your time, and I love your leadership lessons and your success stories. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and I can't wait to see you at the World Conference in April.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please go to womeninretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review our show. Lastly, if you're a female retail leader interested in joining our community at Women in Retail Leadership Circle, visit womeninretail.com/apply. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.
Female retail leaders, join us at the Women in Retail Leadership Summit from April 28th through the 30th at the Ritz-Carlton, Amelia Island, Florida. It's 3 days of insights, networking, and inspiration. Male listeners, share this with your female colleagues. Register at womeninretailsummit.com.